Hey everyone, we got Monday up. Time to live out the rest of our lives, slowly withering and dying bit by bit. Such a glorious way to start the week. Just putting some random trash aside here so that I can get confused about what I've done later. What do we got here? We've got Jared, Wade, Watts, and Peter Crystal. Welcome, everybody. Okay, so nope, that's mine. That's my iPhone 6s Plus. That's a good phone. In spite of the fact that some people don't like Apple, that's fine. I like that iPhone 6s Plus. We got this one. It's a nice little Oreo configuration. And yeah, Steve B and Travis. We got a bit of a bend in it. Don't know if you can see that. Yeah, you can appreciate that bend. It's also got no touch, but it isn't exhibiting the usual touch disease type phenomenon where you'll get the little jumping scatters up the top. But we're going to try screen on this and see if we have any luck. I don't use any special tools for the iPhones other than just the usual, Pentalobe and whatever. I'm not really a professional iPhone repairer. I do them on the side just simply because, there's no one else in town to do it. Alright, that's missing a screw. That's a good start. Hey, House of Moth. And Fossus. Hey, CJ Music. And Rick Tech's here. Mr. Bicker. Bobber up. One thing that did notice on this screen is that something weird's happened to it. We've got all this delamination going on all around. A little bit of a crack there, but you don't normally see that sort of level of delamination going on. So I don't know whether that was just a god-awful vacuum pull or something, but oh, and it needs a new battery too. But I guess we'll see. This may be a, what do you call it, beyond economical repair. Alright, Christian. Well, I hope you get some sleep. So obviously this has had a screen replacement, and they didn't have stock of the whites on hand, so they put a black on there. But naturally kept the... Okay, looks like it's one of my jobs. But it's been through hell since then. So at some point I have worked on this, but it's got liquid damage in it, so that pretty much writes it straight off. But if I do that, there's no stream for anyone to watch, so I guess we'll see what we can do. The person says their partner replaced the battery. I guess we'll see. What do you charge for a touch IC for it? Actually, I haven't... No, I replaced the battery in this. It's got my marks on it. I don't understand what's happened here. These days for touch IC, I guess it's probably around about... You probably can't charge more than about 129 Australian for maybe 149 with postage. And if Bill from A1 Mobile Repairs is listening, he'll probably be like, what? We'd all like to make a reasonable amount of money for our work. Well, this thing's definitely been down the stairs a few times or something. And it's definitely not one of my screens. So it's been replaced since I did it. Definitely has a liquid damage. Hey, Steve Burridge. Okay, John. Cheeseburger is here. Yeah, there's no marks on that, so it's really definitely not one of mine. Do you live in a community where everyone knows everyone else? Well, Southern Wonder, I wouldn't quite go that far, but certainly a lot of people know a lot of people around here. there are only about 5,000 people in the actual town. So certainly if you have a good reputation, you get known. If you have a bad reputation, you really get known. So let's say they went somewhere cheaper and got this screen replaced, because I'm certainly not the cheapest. Like you can go into Townsville, which is the big city next to us, and you can probably get these screens replaced for $60. They'll use cheapest aftermarket screens, which this could easily be, and then they'll maybe put $10 of labor on it, maybe $20 of labor, and they're just relying on just outrageous numbers of jobs coming in, usually in supermarket situations, malls, things like that. Okay, let's see what's going on. I'll get a replacement screen just to test this. Hey Bryce. Yeah, my shop does appear even though it's actually the house. But then I do work from home. I wouldn't say I have a shop. If anyone asked, I'd say no, I do not have a shop. I have a workshop, but not a shop. Alright, let's get a test screen, see if that fixes things up. Six plus. Hey, Farnell. Okay. Well, we do have plenty of batteries and we do have plenty of screens. Probably shouldn't be using a brand new one, but you really should just be using a known working good one. But I don't really feel like digging around for that box, wherever it might be. Okay. Well, they do complain about the battery life, so it could be a tri-star issue as well thrown on top. At least the screen looks okay. Ricktech, yeah, Charters Towers. That's the name of the town. It's a gold mining town. Oh, my actual shop is called CTPC. Okay, touch is all good on this. Well, that's boring. Boring as flippin' fleck. And there's no squiggles when I... How boring. Oh wait, what's going on here? I know that works. Farfan, no, don't recall that show. It sounds like something from the early 80s. We used to get things like The Good Life or what was the name? Yes Minister, the British versions, the goodies of course. Always had the goodies. Yeah, we had a fair number of British shows here, and then after around about the 80s, that swung around a lot more to being American shows, unfortunately. So we tend to lose our British culture, as it were. Just trying to see if the person wanted a... Yeah, great. Person's not responding. Black Books I've seen. I haven't watched it. That's that bookstore one, isn't it? Yeah, now the question is how to get this damn bend out. I suppose I should take the board out before I try and get that particular kick out, because even though it's right at the back here, which is lines up with here, I really don't want to risk it. It'd be just my luck that I straighten out the chassis and find that I've caused a circuit board fault. Okay, shift that magnetic pad off, and we've got a fresh one. We're dealing with all these. My goodness, it's hot in here. I'm gonna have to turn on the fan. I found the missing screw that I was looking for. Oh yes, we definitely got IT Crowd. Oh yes, indeed. I've watched that quite a few times now. I do actually rather like Noel Fielding as Richmond in it. Funnily enough, I don't really care for Noel Fielding out of IT Crowd. He's just a little bit too eccentric, so to speak, for my humour tastes. I know a lot of people who really love him, love watching his show. I forget what the show's called, but the Noel Fielding show or something, I don't know. But yeah, I find it a little hard on the brain at times. Maybe I'm just a bit slow. Fixing an old signal meter, commercial tech, not fun, have to reball BGA chip. What's new? Oh, well, it's Monday, so I think it pretty much says everything. I have a bit of a bittersweet thing for Monday, because I do like the fact that it's Monday in the sense that, you know, new packages are arriving, things are happening, stuff like that, but I also dislike Monday because of the fact that there's all the weekend issues that are going to come crashing in. I forget how annoying the 6 Plus is to disassemble. I used to have a trick for doing it a bit quicker, but now I've forgotten it. That's just great. The Mighty Bush, that's right. Yep. Thank you. That's right. This one gets me every time. Oh, Samuel from Puerto Rico. Placing the LCD of an Android phone and need the glue. Oh, no, I'm the wrong person to ask for that. Very much the wrong person to ask for that. I really don't know. That's my first and final answer. I don't know. Hey Greg. I'm just checking over this board while it's out. So we do have some very slight bits and pieces on here, but there's really nothing at all to report home about. And fortunately, yeah, the board has no bend in it, so that's good. So we just need to now get this bend out, which kicks around about there. Yep, I know. Drawing on customer's phone. So we've got a forward line going on here, so it's going to be a little bit difficult to get that out properly. But if we can get it down within tolerable range, I'll be happy. Always stick your sim tray back in before you do any bending. Without the sim tray in there, when you apply the pressure, there'll be a weak point and the chassis will collapse around it. Yeah, the old fueling stuff, it's hard to say whether it's comedy or insanity. It kind of reminds me a little bit of an outrageous Monty Python. Okay, time to get my chassis straightener tool. I could try to do this by hand, but I don't trust myself. Just put this off to the side somewhere. Somewhere I'm not going to knock it. Lethal one, what are you doing in hospital? Or maybe I don't actually want to know, come to think of it. It might traumatize me. Oh, forgot that about the 6. Damn me. Damn it. The plus size phones are just a wee bit too big. So I have to really hack job my way around on this. Creative visuals, yeah, I made this quite a while ago. It's nothing fancy, it's just a piece of MDF with some holes drilled in it. What I should do is drill a couple more holes in it so I can, have the room for doing the 6 Plus properly. Now, to find the appropriate tool to apply the pressure. Nope, that one's too short. In this case it becomes a spudger repair. Up there. Someone just messaged me. Colour doesn't worry me if I'm backed up. Yes, please. Okay. It's not as quick as what I would like. I would like some faster butterfly screws for this, nuts, but this will have to do. And then it's a case of sighting it, making sure you don't create a secondary bend. And then you got to gauge your level of overbend so that when you release it, it comes back to straight. And I completely and utterly did not even get close to that. Alright, this is going to be difficult. Hey Daniel M. I was replacing the phone's audio jack. Wanted to do it myself. Soldering on. Which phone? But generally, no. With these, I wouldn't even try it. I'd just get yourself a replacement flex. I may be forced to have to go and put an extra drill holes in this thing. Yeah, Q's, believe me, I'm waiting to get that CNC as well. Yeah, the trouble with this compound bend I've got here is that I can only apply force onto one portion of the chassis, and the trouble is the real cause of the bend is further inside the chassis in the mid-plate area. So I don't think I'm going to really get this out now. I mean, I got some of it out, but now I've got to work around this area. And this is where it's a problem with this particular jig setup, is that every time you move to the next zone, you have to, separate it, do it all again. Next time I'll actually drill the holes a little bit larger. There's no need for them to be quite so perfectly fitting on the bolt itself. Now the reason why I have these shims here is to provide a bit of cantilever effect. If I don't have them there, then all you'll ever get to do is to be able to flat press the chassis. You won't be able to do the overbend, and in that case you won't achieve any useful outcome. Yeah, I might walk off to the shed and get myself the portable drill and try this again with a few more holes, because this is proven to be a bit of a difficult one. And if you do it wrong, you snap the frame, then it's a sad day. We're almost there. We're almost there. You have a look down. Let's see, go this way. Up. That's not too bad. I might actually leave it at that. And the person can just simply keep it in a case. If you push your luck too far with this sort of aluminium or any metal, you then start getting fatigue issues and fractures. It's just not worth messing around for too many more times. I mean, you could try and anneal it, but good luck trying to anneal this stuff, at least without. It's still definitely got a compound twist in it too. Lovely. I don't know what happened to this one, but it was a mess. Alright. Let's put our board back in. Yeah, back pockets are certainly a significant culprit in this sort of damage. Actually, let's see what sort of current drain it's got. The person has said to me that it's draining the battery. So I just want to see what its quiescent current is like, or its idle current. So I'll just hook it up to this octopus as soon as I can find the right one. 6S, 6X plus, 6 plus. Okay. We're not drawing anything, so that seems pretty good. That's weird. This octopus, I just noticed, it's making this board cycle. That's really weird, because remember the other day I had a couple of boards that exhibited exactly the same fault. They would cycle, and there was no real apparent reason why. And I'm wondering if maybe the octopus assembly is actually at fault here and not the boards themselves. Which means I would have went through a heck of a lot of drama that didn't technically exist. I'm just trying to think why on earth the octopus board would even cause that behavior. Well, I guess we're going to diagnose that after I put this back together. And it's not a current limiting situation because I do have 2 amps available on that board. Hey Travis, I believe I got it from Union Repair. So it certainly wasn't a super shonky source. It was just your standard upper class shonky. Yeah, we'll look at that once I've put this back together and got it up and running. Because I could imagine having... Sorry, I should say, I could understand having 2 phones with the same sort of fault in the same week. That's not entirely unreasonable. But 3, that's... something's going on. And you don't belong in there. You're the wrong one. Oh, for goodness sake. I think I've got my cranky pants on today. Oh wait, who am I kidding? I've got my cranky pants on every day. Jan Zimmy, what good news do you have? Always interesting to hear about good news on animal diabetes. Oof. Shoulder's hurting for some reason. Ah, gee, which... Damn it. I have to admit, I have forgotten which hole the standoff sits in. Unbelievable, how did I forget that? Daniel, normally they're perfectly fine, the squid connectors, so I don't know what the deal is. That's yeah, that is what is proving to be a bit interesting here, is that it appears to be misbehaving. Now I'm going to scream, of course, now if we find out that TriStar is dead and I have to take everything apart again. A little bit of corrosion up there. One of those has a standoff, and I'm not sure which. I guess the easiest thing to do is just look up on the internet. Greg, yeah, there's... Oh, restart button. There's only the... Yeah, I'll show. These are the two buttons. So you start off, you put on your power, and then... Yeah, that's just like connecting the battery to the phone. And then you press this button, and that's like holding down the power button. But yeah, for some reason that's cycling now. I should try with my white octopus. And see if it exhibits the same issue. The only trouble with the white octopus is you don't have a button to press it on and off, so you do have to use the... Yeah, and this one works fine. So for some reason they're just not working with the red octopus. Very interesting. Well, a bit late to get a refund now. Harry, I don't think people would appreciate me taking my pants off. Sound with no stream. Daniel, everything's showing up fine here. I mean, I could be wrong. I'm just going to go check iPhone 6 Plus, tear down, iFixit. Oof. If you're wondering what I'm doing, I'm just looking for a picture of the iPhone 6 Plus screw assembly for up here. One of those things that sometimes you just forget. Hilariously, iFixit doesn't seem to be giving me much help here. Rightio. Okay. Pretty sure it goes... Well, I shouldn't say pretty sure, but I think it goes into that one. Getting a wee warm now. These gloves aren't going to stay on for much longer, I think. It'd be better if my brain just remembered these things in. So it's surprisingly difficult to line those up without. Okay, just got that screw. I think we're good. FX. Alright, so we're basically back to the start. Now we can build our actual screen. Finish tearing this one down. I'm surprised at the number of screens I get in that have been done by other people where they leave off the metal backplate. Like what they'll do is they'll take off the screen, and yeah, they do that without causing too much damage, but then they discard the whole assembly. Often they'll remember to take the home button because that becomes pretty clear when they go to the new screen that they need a home button, and they'll tape the camera up the top. But a lot of people don't take the metal backplate as well, which isn't much use when you're on a phone like this one, because then you lose your home button connectivity. Mostly tends to happen on the 6S. Okay. There. Rubbish. There, Travis, I'm going to take a gamble. I'll just reassemble the screen and then see how I go. Won't take too long. But if we want to talk about doing idiotic things, then I'm happy to tell a story about what happened today. As you know, I need some CD3215 C00 chips. And so this morning I wake up and I think, right, I need them in a hurry, so I'm going to order them from Rossmann. I'm going to get them expedited, in shipping, pay the $70 or whatever it requires to get them over here fast, so I can get the job out the door. Well, all's going well until I get to the end of the order, and I've submitted and paid for everything, when I realise that I've actually inadvertently ordered the damn BO3 type rather than the C00 type. And what's so stupid about it is that on the web page where it actually shows the chip and everything, the description contains great big red letters saying this is not the C00 type, this is the BO3, do not get this if you need the C00. And somehow I managed to completely miss all that, and naturally it happened after I set that submit button. So now I'm going to have to hope and pray that Rossmann store notices that I was a complete and utter idiot and corrects that order. I've already sent a message through the contact system, and I've contacted Lewis and I've cried about it and everything. But it's just going to be an absolute crack up if I end up with a whole bunch of BO3 chips when I'm just trying to get some COOs, man. I should have known when their store ran out of the ones I was ordering so quickly. I was like, wow, they didn't have many of those. Although in some ways that probably accelerated my panic and made me not check things more thoroughly. You know, I was feeling like, oh no, someone else is trying to buy them from out underneath me. And so I was like, click, 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 buy. But it looks like I got suckered in. But I find it annoying because I know people buy Flex Boardview, and in spite of all the things I put on the screen, they still sometimes come to me and say, where are the schematics? Where are the board views? And I'm like, there are no schematics or board views supplied with this software. It is something you agree to twice when you order it. How could you possibly have missed that? And in my defense, at least, yeah, like I said, you do have to actually confirm twice that you acknowledge that there are no board views or schematics included with Flex Board View. But it was still comical for me to botch up that purchase. Yeah, someone paid me money and I don't know why. Always fun when you get money and you don't know why. Like, did I do a drug deal through the night when I was in my sleep? Oh man, I am so broke. Rossmann repair cost me over almost 250 Australian dollars. Ouch. And there wasn't that many chips, but I've got a bit of a weak currency exchange rate at the moment, which is why I'm very glad that I sell Flex Boardview in US dollars. Not to mention that I do that because it confuses people too much if I put it in, say, Australian dollars. Or if I put the price up in Australian dollars to what the equivalent would be that I want to get overall in the US, then the larger number puts people off. They're like, ew, no, it's got more digits, it's much higher, even though the value of the currency is less. And they run away. Speaking of which, someone posted to me yesterday on Discord. I said, look, I've hacked Flex Boardview, haha, funny, did it for myself. Don't worry, don't panic. I was like, congratulations. Yeah, you succeeded in hacking a very easy to hack piece of software that's not obfuscated, I don't even think I stripped the binaries. But you know, I've said in the past plenty of times, it's fairly trivial to crack Flex Boardview because I'm not trying to make it the most difficult piece of software in the world to use, or I'm not trying to inconvenience people as much. CP201909, what is today, 30th? Yeah, I've tried to provide software that people can use with a reasonable license that doesn't get in your way, that doesn't make you rage because you had to shift to a new machine, or maybe you don't want to have the internet being connected, sending off your important business information or whatever. Okay, what have we got there? We've got a trap flex there. Hello, you're supposed to go underneath. So if when people do this, if it seems like I get a little irate, it's mostly because they're not really even doing it for themselves per se. They're doing it for the attention, and that's fine. Just don't pretend it's not for the attention. But finally, it's like, there are people trying to be good commercial citizens in your industry, and you have the attitude or audacity to go around and say, look at me, I've done this. Didn't even make the contact in private or anything like that. But no. At least this one actually did do it correctly, whereas the previous guy was just a whole bunch of waffling on. The previous guy probably was someone who belonged to the SCO Unix versus IBM lawyer team. About as vague as anything. But yeah, there's always someone out there that's going to do that. That's just the reality of it. Now, of course, from here I could do a couple of things. I could very easily just ramp up the difficulty. It'll probably cost about a 1 or 2% performance hit, and it will be a real pain then to bypass everything. And the worst thing is that time spent creates more bugs and detracts me from doing work on the actual core program. But you're always going to get people who want to be idiots like that. Okay, I shouldn't say idiots, but they're just misdirected in what they're trying to do, I suppose. But I guess that's their prerogative. And if they want to run around doing that, then there are outcomes that will come because of that. They certainly don't get really any praise from me, simply because the fact is, like, come on, it's a trivial thing to break. Now I'm just waiting to see. Come on, beep, 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 beep. Still just Apple logo. Okay, looks like our touch is working. Seems good to me. Alright, so in the end, we're supposed to do the damn battery. God damn it. Battery health. Maximum capacity, 78%. Alright. That does need replacing, which means I've got to disassemble stuff. God damn it. Why didn't you guys stop me? Yeah, I know. I know you did try to stop me, but that was for a different purpose. That was for testing the touch. So you actually would have delayed me in getting to this junction. I know there's some brave souls out there who will remove this battery without removing the screen. I'm not that brave. I've seen the outcome of people doing that when things go wrong. I'm really sweating up in these gloves. I may just have to forgo the split air conditioner system and just get a window box system that I can put into this window beside me. I'm kind of curious though why this one's died. Maybe because of the bend. When you bend lithium packs, what happens is the cell layers in the wrap, some of them will come in contact with each other, so you get a reduction of your battery surface area, and I yanked that tab too hard. Come on. No! Get back here. Roll onto the tweezers, you little SOB. Trouble I'm having here is that the angle of the tweezers versus the angle of the microscope and the distances is making it quite hard to... Don't you dare tear from me again. The trouble is it's got that stuttery draw, which yeah, means that. I might have to just alcohol these out. Unfortunately what happens is some of these strips, they're not as thick as they should be. And so they have a bad habit of breaking like this. Son of a gun. Alcohol it is. Let's see if I can do it from this side while we wait for that alcohol. Oh, this one's fine. So I might be able to just leave my way out. Well, at least it wasn't red Tessa tape or anything. I'm going to have to get this battery checked because that's actually 2018. So it's barely a year old. It might have been because it got bent, but I'm not convinced of that. Hey, Firstland. Don't you dare. See if these come off. No. Hate that. Given how sticky this stuff is, it's amazing it doesn't stick as well as it does on the back of the batteries. I'm not using a lot of pressure, I'm just using enough to get the adhesive to bite. Hey David, the name's Paul actually. I don't know why that happens. I don't know why people seem to always think well, not always, but quite frequently people think my name is Daniel. It's my last name is Daniels. But first name's definitely just boring old Paul. Paul because my parents were too preoccupied with whatever else they had going on in their lives to come up with a better name for me. So they just sort of went, let's just go with Paul. Yeah, simple, easy, neutral. That'll do. Some biblical references there. That'll be fine. I didn't even get a middle name. I ended up having to pick my own middle name when I was about 9 years old. No, not even that. No, I was about 7 actually. 7 years old, and I realised that I didn't have a middle name. My sister did, but I didn't. And there's lots of photos of my sister as a baby. There's almost none of me. So I guess I must have been a bit of an afterthought. Either that or I'm adopted, or I was cloned in a vat. It's okay, I don't really despise my parents. It's just more of a amusing point. Well, I mean, you're right. Getting to pick your own middle name at a later time is certainly a fun thing to do. Alright. Well, it's certainly not going to be sitting perfectly flat, but it's better than it was before, that's for sure. No, my middle name is not Jack. Geez, at 7 years old, if you know about Jack Daniels, then you got other issues to deal with. No. Which markings you talking about? The ones on the chassis? Yeah, they're easy to come off with IPA. Give me a chance to clean up all the other nasty stuff on here. Although a lot of this stuff has to come off with the IPA and water mix, because a lot of this dirt and grime is not not alcohol soluble, or soluble in alcohol rather. But add a little bit of water to it, comes right off. Some tougher spots there. Hey Pedro, good to see you. Pedro trying to lead the people into thinking for themselves and working out stuff. Just waiting for someone to say, how do I do that? Alright. Okay, this is good. The battery data won't really be relevant right now because it's a new battery and it's going to have to go through a cycle or two, I think. Oh well. Alright. That's that job done. It's definitely not Lewis. Okay. That is an interesting connection. I can certainly say it's certainly not Lewis. Alright, well, so this is what my hands are all pruning up, sweaty, everything, which is why it's good to wear gloves, even though it causes that sort of thing. But you don't want that stuff going over your customer's phone, and you don't want customer phone junk going into permeable membranes like your skin. Alright. I'm going to leave it at that because I've got to go off and do some other Monday things. It's already almost 2 o'clock. I've got an ultrasonic job I've got to get done and a machine sent off, so yeah, I'm cut for time here. Pardon me. Cats are good, but we'll leave it at that. Thanks for all dropping in. Sorry it wasn't really all that interesting, but it was good to catch up with you all and have a chat as always. And I will see you the next time. Until then, take care.